Hey, so welcome to video 13. This video is another one of the career advice series, and this is about something that's very near and dear to me because I've actually have seen the benefits of this over the course of my career, and I'm still benefiting from doing it. And it's my belief that you should always be learning things, right? Like even if it's not something you're going to use right away, just just putting new knowledge in your head tends to keep the brain fresh and it can help you out in numerous ways. And we'll talk about all those here in a minute. This will be on top of some B-roll footage again of me fooling around with some rocks for a scene I'm doing. So watch it or don't. You can just listen to the audio if you want to. And yeah, let's get into it. So the whole point of this video is to give you that spark to continue learning. It's something I think a lot of us forget as we age into our comfort zones and we start getting comfortable with workflows and we like the way that our career is progressing and we get locked in these bubbles. And I think that's really damaging to a career long term. So I think we've all worked with, or at least heard about, artists who are sort of stuck in time. They aren't bad artists, it's just they're set in their ways. The one who's been using the same program for 10 years, they're 4 versions behind, have all of their scripts set up and their hotkeys are locked in. They've nailed their workflow and they aren't interested in changing. Or they're afraid to change because they perceive that it'll be too much work. Or they don't want to shake the jello and reveal that they've been sitting still for 5 years and don't know about the latest tech. And to be fair, they've worked their butts off to get to where they are and feel they've earned it. And they have. But as time goes on, they become less relevant as younger artists are hired into the ecosystem of the company. Because these new artists come with new skills and they're generally very literate on the current tech, whatever it might be. And if you aren't keeping up with the industry, you're going to get left behind. So the best way that I've found to tell whether you're falling into that sort of a comfort zone is to gauge your first reaction when you hear about a new app or a new workflow that one of your coworkers has discovered. If your first reaction is to get defensive and dismissive, then you may have to recognize that you are falling into that trap. Drawing a line in the sand and saying you're not going to look at Substance Painter because you're perfectly comfortable in Photoshop, or you're too busy to learn a CAD program because you've been modeling in Sub-D for 10 years and you don't need to learn anything new. Or you feel that you've nailed your workflow down and it's everything you need and there's no reason to upgrade your modeling app or even look at other applications. That sort of attitude, in my opinion, is going to poison your chances moving forward. Stay nimble and flexible and open. And keep your mind in a humble place and recognize that other apps and technologies have value for you and may help you advance your career one day, or at the very least, help you to expand your tool set. Now, a side benefit of learning new things is that it opens your mind to options. Now, I love looking at a weird shape that I have to model for something and realizing how my brain is working, like how it's processing that, because my mind will present me with options. I could sub-D model it, of course, or maybe using Mesh Fusion would be a better option. Or maybe I could just jam some primitives together and use the rounded edge shader in Modo to create that. Or, hey, I could send these primitive shapes to ZBrush and hit them with Dynamesh. Or I could maybe use a CAD program like Rhino 3D and use the Boolean system there and the filleting system to get what I need. The point being that if I wasn't pushing myself to learn new things, I might have one option, to sub-D it or to ZBrush it. Having one tool in the toolbox makes you really good at using that one tool, but you don't realize that maybe that tool is not always the best choice. And having options is very liberating. So this leads us to the concept of master of none. Because let's be honest, nobody's going to become a master of every app and every new technology that comes out there. That's not real life. Nobody has that kind of time or time or resource to spend. But I find a lot of value in knowing of things rather than being a master of everything. Just knowing that an option exists helps me because, let's say that I heard about some ZBrush feature that can do X. And I haven't necessarily even tried that myself, but my brain knows that is out there. So if I come across a problem, my brain will often reach back in the Rolodex and pull that forward, say, hey, remember that thing you saw that time in that video? We should look into that a little further because I think that would help. So it does help to direct me. So we're obviously all really busy. I'm so busy most days I can barely breathe. But I still make it a habit to take a half hour to an hour every day to work on something that I'm weak at, or to watch a chunk of a tutorial, or to play around with a new program, to expand my options. And how do you find that time, I guess, is really the question. And my answer is that you make it, you schedule it. I find that setting a timer for 25 minutes or so on each task allows me to focus on that task without guilt or pressure or outside forces interfering, because I know that I won't be spending hours on it by accident, which can happen when you get wrapped up in stuff. So watching a piece of a tutorial or playing with a new app, it's not going to eat my entire day, but I will learn something. And that leads me into my final point, which is, what is the worst that can happen if you follow this advice? Well, the worst thing that happens is that you learn a couple new things. You might pick up a new tip to work into your workflow. You might learn of a new app that you hadn't seen before that helps you do your job better. And that sounds like it's all upside to me. So I hope that if nothing else, you can take away from this tip the idea that there's a whole world of information out there just waiting to help you do your job better. New apps and new workflows, new ideas, and all of it can be employed to help you advance your career and do your job better. But the first step is you have to take the initiative to learn it. So I hope you found this tip valuable. If you did, please hit like on the video, share the video with anybody who might need to hear it, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks. I'll see you next time.